Good morning, Year 4. It's Thursday, and this is my hints and tips video for week 3, lesson 4, which is analog to digital, and this time 24-hour time. Okay, so please make sure you've got your whiteboard and whiteboard pen ready. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is list the 12-hour time like we did yesterday, where we had the section for AM and then at midday it changes for PM. Okay, so do that now. All right, it will start at 0.00 and then the next one will be 100. 200 all the way until you get back to 000. Okay, so do that now and then check against mine to see that your list is correct. Great, so hopefully you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so it's just the hours time is just going up in ones all the way until you get to midday, and then it changes and starts going up in ones again from 1 all the way up to 11. Okay, and then it goes back to the midnight 00.00. Okay, so we can draw a bracket to show that from midnight through to 11, it will be 11:59. These are all AM times. Right, can you remember what it stands for? Okay, remember, anti-meridian. All right, and then from midday to 11:59 there would be PM, which is our post meridian. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at telling the time using a 24-hour format, right, and how we can change between the 12-hour and 24-hour format. So the first thing I'm going to do is write the list for you of the 24-hour format, and then we can look at the patterns. Okay, it's quite a long list, right? So let's have a look. We're going for it being whole hours, so our minutes are always 0 at the moment, while we're looking at what happens to the hours. So look closely, all right? See what you notice, what's different and what's the same. Okay, what's different, what's the same. All right, we'll come to here. Look what happens. Okay, so we've been increasing by 1 all the way until we get to here, and then this one in the 12-hour time goes back and starts at 1 again. Okay, and this one in the 24-hour time continues to increase by 1. So it goes from 12 and then continues going up in ones. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oop, let's move it up a bit. 22, 23. And when it would literally get to midnight, which is the beginning of the new day, it goes back to 0000. Okay, so one of the other differences that you should have noticed is that 24-hour time always is written with 4 digits. Okay, so 24-hour time, if it is 1 a.m. in the morning, would be written as 01. Okay, it is always written with 4 digits. Okay, and when we're looking at the AM times of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 AM, you will see that there is a 0 holding that kind of place value. It is unusual, all right, to have the 0 at the beginning like that, but it makes it clear that we are working in 24-hour time and not just 12-hour time. Okay. Right, so I changed it slightly. If I actually rub that one out again as well, it doesn't change the fact that those are all AM times and the equivalent AM time is on the other side of the 24-hour clock. But what I want to show you at the moment is how you can convert between the 12-hour clock and the 24-hour clock without writing out a huge list, okay, and how you can convert between the 24-hour clock and the 12-hour clock. Okay, so what we notice is in the 24-hour time it continues counting on. So in fact what we have in the 24-hour time is a number that has been increased by 12. Okay, so to make 13, all right, you add 12 to the number 1. Okay, to make 14, you add 12 to the number 2. To make 15, you add 12 to the number 3. To make 16, you add 12 to the number 4, because it's always just kept counting on from 12. So in the 24-hour time, in the PM times, it's just 12 larger than in the 12-hour time. Okay, so if we want to convert from 12-hour time, our PM times, okay, into 24-hour time. So if we want to change our 12-hour times, okay, in the PM, we need to add 12. All right, and as we know that what the inverse of addition is, if we want to convert 24-hour time back into 12-hour time, into AM and PM, we need to subtract the 12. Okay, right, so to go from 24, in fact I'll write it like that, so I think it might be clearer. Okay, so if we want to go for 24-hour time to 12-hour time, we need to subtract 12, and if we want to go from 12-hour time to 24-hour time, we need to add 12. If it's in the morning, okay, you just need to make sure your 24-hour clock has 4 digits. That's the only difference, okay? That's the only difference, all right? But once it continues into the PM, okay, you will need to add or subtract 12, right? And the easiest way to do that is to add 10 and then add 2, or if you're coming the other way, subtract 10 and then subtract 2. Okay, because you should be able to do this in your head, right? And hopefully most of you will add 10 and then add 2 to the number. Okay, so if I'm looking at 7 p.m. in the evening, if I add 10 to 7, that gives me 17. Add the 2, 18, 19. Okay, hopefully most of you will be able to do that without having to do it in ones as well. If I'm coming the other way, all right, so I'm going to, they would call this 100 hours. Okay, they would subtract 10 from 20, which is 10, and then subtract the 2, which is 8. And if we look on the other side, there we've got 8 p.m. Okay, right. Good. So in your book, can you make a table or a list of the conversions between 12-hour time and 24-hour time? Okay, you've got to make sure that they are lined up correctly. I did mine using a ruler to make sure. Your book has lines, but you need to make sure that you get the conversions listed correctly. Okay, and then when you come down to here, you can show that to change between 12-hour time to 24-hour time, you add 12, okay, and to change between 24-hour time to 12-hour time, you subtract 12. And the easiest way to do that is to think of 12 being made of 10, 1 10 and 2 1s, okay, 1 10 and 2 1s. All right, so you probably need a whole page. Make a list. It might even go on to the next page, okay, but make sure the equivalent times are on the same line. All right, so do that now, and then we'll have a look at a couple of the questions from the sheet. Okay, so this is my little hint for question number 2. It says, write the times in 12-hour digital format using AM or PM. So here you've got the 24-hour time, and here you're going to need to write the 12-hour time. Okay, now my little hint, when you are just converting between 24-hour and 12-hour, or 12-hour and 24-hour, the minutes actually don't change because the time itself is the same. Okay, so we haven't added any time or taken any time away, so that doesn't actually affect the minutes. Okay, so the minutes are the same because we're just changing the same time from 24 to 12, all right, or 12 to 24. Then you're going to need to think about, how does the 12-hour clock look different to our 24-hour clock? All right, so you can go back to your list in your book if you're not sure, okay, how you change from 24-hour to 12, and do those. Okay, I'm about to run out of time, so I'll make another video for the last couple of things.